Hi everybody, just want to make a video here to make the instructions much more clear about how the Zoom simulation is going to work for this class. Now the Zoom simulation is a business simulation, should not be confused with the meeting conferencing tool. Two different things. Okay, so first things first, you have to register for the Zoom simulation. It's 40 points of your course grade, which means that it's 20% of your overall grade. Here is the web address to register, and our class code is fall 2020. Now part one is going to be the solo practice. So first let me show you how to register for the Zoom simulation. You come over to this web address here and you'll see this. You can click on register, then you click on student, and then you'll see that you'll have to register your first name, last name, email. Make a username and password that you can remember. And then you submit that. You'll go to the payment section where you can use your credit card to pay, and then you're going to go to the class selection. So I'm going to skip over to the class selection and show you how that works. But most importantly, remember whatever username and password you use, make sure it's something you can remember or something similar to that you already have so you don't forget that. And hold on a second. Okay, so I paid with a credit card. There are no activation codes for this class. So after you pay with the credit card, you get to this screen, which is the welcome screen, and you have play solo practice or select your professor. Now, when you click on select your professor, click that, you will look for my name, and then there's only one class code, fall 2020. Once you've selected these two, you click on submit. Okay, now it will bring you back to play team competition, play solo practice. So for right now, we're going to hold off on playing the team competition until much later in the class. So the team competition starts on October 1st, is the first round of the team competition. And I'm not going to be selecting or posting team assignments until September 7th because of add drop. So right now, all you have to work on is the practice rounds. So part one is the solo practice rounds. So the first 20 points of the 40 are going to be earned when you complete 6 rounds, complete rounds 1 through 6, so round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the solo practice and have a cumulative score above 1,500. And all 6 practice rounds are due by September 27th, so you have some time to complete this. But this is what you can start working on now. You can't start the team competition because I haven't put you into teams as students yet because I'm waiting for add drop to be over. Then I will randomly put you into teams, and I'll show you how that's going to work in a minute. But first, let's do the solo practice. So when you come here, you click on solo practice, and this is the solo practice for your company, and you work in this as an individual. So I would suggest that you pull down. You can use this link if you forget your password or username. You can use this link to get the student manual. I suggest you read over the student manual. Very important things about the student manual. It explains in 15 pages or less how the simulation works and everything in the simulation. Now, an important part of it is that it gives you the vehicle growth rates per year for each vehicle and the estimated sales, average sales for each vehicle for 7 periods, 0 to 6. So you could use this chart as a basis of where to start. This is your starting point. If you're building cars better than most, forecast higher. If you're building really crappy cars and you don't think they'll sell as well, forecast a little bit lower. Then it goes in to explain how the advertising and media work. Now these percentages of effectiveness means that newspapers and television are the most effective ways to sell sedans. And then you figure out so that means you should put most of your money in television and newspapers. Okay, so you continue to read through this and it'll explain most everything. Okay, back to the simulation. So in the individual practice, you're going to go in here and then you're going to put in and I have a separate video to kind of go over how to work the Zoom simulation in a little bit more detail, but I just want to show you a couple of things here that you want profit margins above 40%. So that is your goal. I'm going to go back here to see for what is the forecast for round 1. Average is 21, 26, 18, and 1688. So I'm just going to do, I don't think my cars are that competitive, so I'm going to forecast a little bit lower here. And then let's see, 2,600 for sedan, do 2,500. And I'm just putting in random numbers here just to get this moving. Truck is 18 and then 16. Okay, so I'm going to put 17. I don't think my truck is that good. And then, okay, so I forecasted and I filled out the R&D for each of the vehicles. And again, this is really not the training video for this. There's a whole separate video I'll show you in a second. Actually, I'll show you right now. Right here, this is the real long, detailed getting started, understanding how to put the inputs in per round. Here, I'm just showing you how the practice rounds work. So you're going to have your advertising. So using the user guide, it gives you an idea of the percentages of effectiveness. And then you want to fill in based on what you think is most effective. You know, fill in each of these, and you do that. You're going to run through each of the companies. I'm not, doing this 100%. I'm just kind of showing you. You want to get some numbers in here, spend some money, and here's a range. So it gives you a range. So I'm underspending here, so perhaps I should increase my spending so I get closer to the range of what's between these two here. So when I'm done with, I go into production. I'm going to have to buy a production plant to increase my capacity so I can manufacture the cars I want. Buy some levels of operational investments. Here I'll need 2 plants because I'm looking to build 2,500. 1 plant is needed here. You always want zeros, the excess or shortage. And you want to make some operational investments because it's going to help you to make your cars more efficiently later on in future rounds. Okay. So I complete the production. Now I go to the finance page. I go right down to the bottom. I see I have a nice little surplus here, but I want to make that surplus a little bit bigger. So I'm going to put some additional, request for some additional funds. Okay, so now my surplus is bigger. I usually like to shoot for around 10 million. Okay, now in the practice rounds and the practice rounds only, when I complete round 1, I'm automatically thrown into round 2. And now I'm in round 2. I scored 1,000 points, which is great. I get an assessment to look over, to review how I did. I get some charts I could review, the industry, how the competitors, which are computer players, what they did. I can check on my financials. Now remember, I'm starting year 2. I have to go year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6. So I go into sales. Now it's year 2. I have year 1 decisions here. I have to make year 2 decisions. So I'm just going to repeat the process. I'm going to fill out my sales, marketing, production, finance, submit my complete year 2, and I'll move into year 3, and then 4, and then 5, and finally when I complete year 6, I'll be done with the practice rounds. And as long as my cumulative points, meaning that every overview I earn points, and these gets added together. So I made 1,000 points this round. If I make 100 points in rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, I'll have over 1,500 points, and I will have completed the practice round project. And I need to do that. So you could do that all in one day, or you could do that over a couple of weeks, but you have until September 27th to finish that, to earn those first 20 points. So half this project is, 50% of this project is a solo project. Then the team competition is going to start. It's going to start after I assign teams on the 7th, and then you're going to work in teams. So let me show you how that will work. Okay, so after September 7th, I'm going to assign the groups, and then you can click on this groups button, and then this will tell you, right now there are no groups because I haven't assigned any groups because of ad drop, but after or on September 7th, I'll assign the groups, and when you click on here, your group will be found. So your group might be Team 27. So when you log into this simulation, you're going to click on Play Team Competition, and you will see that your teams will be listed here. You won't have to create a new company. I'll create the teams for you. So if you're in Group 1, that means you're going to be in Team 1. If you're in Group 21, that means you're in Team 21. And you'll just select, there'll be a list here. Right now there's no list because I didn't create them, that you'll be able to join once I automatically assign you into a team. And then once you join a team, then you'll be able to play team competition, and you'll be in a team. So if you happen to be in Team 1, which only 5 of you will be, then you'll have to fill in one of these open positions with your name and then your email. It doesn't matter who takes what role. They're just a role playing, so it doesn't really matter whose name is in what position. But you find whoever signs in first can be president, second person who happens to sign in, fill out the... So you keep scrolling down till you see an empty email and name. So you put in your name and your email, you submit that, and then you start on your sales page. So one thing different about the team competition is that you'll have these reflective observation boxes that you must fill out every round. So each of the areas has their own, you don't see this in the practice rounds, but you'll see this in the team competition, that you'll have to fill out these reflective observations when the team competition starts. However, to go back to the Blackboard, the team competition won't be until after September 7th, because I'm going to have, it's a big class, there'll be a number of students leaving and joining the class, so I'm going to create the teams on September 7th. You'll be able to go into Blackboard to click on groups to see what team you're in, and then once you know what team you're in, you can log into the Zoom simulation, click the classroom competition, and then click your team to start as a team. And then you'll have in that team area, in the group area here on Blackboard, you click here, you'll have all your team member names and their email addresses. As you'll have that in the Zoom simulation. On the company page, you'll be able to see the team members and their email addresses, so you can get in contact with them. And in the groups area, there'll be an area for a discussion board area, there'll be a chat area, there'll be a file exchange area, so you'll have a bunch of tools in the group area to work with once you're in a group. Okay, now, once you're in a group after September 7th, then you work on the final 20 points of the simulation, and you have to now score over a cumulative 2,500 points cumulative over 6 rounds. And here's our round schedule. So this doesn't work like the practice rounds where it just automatically rolls you over to the next year. This we have to wait until everyone submitted their results, and then the round will be processed on this due date. So the due date is October 1st at 11:30. All your inputs for round 1 as a team should be placed in here. Then it will process. I'll do a review, and then we'll start on round 2. Then that will process. I'll do a review, and then we'll start round 3. So we go from October 1st to November 5th, and we have 6 rounds we're working on, and it's a schedule. So you won't be able to see your results early like the practice rounds because you have to wait for me to process, because you're live head-to-head against all the other students in the class. So your results and how well you do depend on the competition from the other students in the class. Okay, so what should you do from here? What you should do from here is register with the Zoom simulation, join our class code, start working on the practice rounds, and watch this getting started video here. And that will get you up to speed on the actual mechanics and philosophy behind the simulation. Okay, best of luck with this, and I hope you have a great semester. Thank you.